In this video, I'll be working through the question you see on the screen here from the Maths paper 1-1 from the 2024 Cambridge A-Level exam. If you're looking for a different question from this paper, there should be a link to the playlist in the description below. And if you're looking for a different paper entirely, have a look around on my channel. I'll be doing all this on a whiteboard, hopefully just like you're used to in your classroom. But remember, we're not in the classroom, we're on YouTube. Take advantage of that. Pause, rewind, watch it at double speed. If you find this video or any of my videos useful, I would greatly appreciate a like, a subscribe, a share, or even a super thanks. In question 8, it's actually split into two very similar questions. A and B both have these same three expressions. In part A, it's an arithmetic sequence. In part B, it's a geometric sequence. And in part A, they ask us to find the 10th term in this sequence. Forget that for a moment. In both of these cases, you just want to find everything. So what I mean by that, in an arithmetic sequence, everything means finding A and D. That's it. A is the first term, so we're finished on that one. So really, all this comes down to is finding D. And then at that point, we can use the formula. Let me see if I remember off the top of my head, n minus 1 times d. We can use the formula to find any term we want. Or if they asked us, as they do in part B, for the sum of terms, there's a formula for that. We can use those formulas. It all comes down to finding A and D, or in part 2, A and O. So really, how do we find D here? The common difference. The difference between the first and the second term, the second and the third and the fourth. A number that goes up, or sometimes if it's a minus, it's going down each time. How do we find that? It's simple enough. We just take away the second times the first, or the 10th minus the 9th, or any two terms beside each other. So in this case, D is equal 4p minus 1 minus 25. Problem here is we don't know what p is. But there's another two terms beside each other. So we can say D is also equal, or this is equal to 13 minus p, this term, take away this one, minus 4p, and then minus the 1 plus 1. And if we forget D for a moment, we have an equation here with just the p is unknown. So we can solve for that. Get all the p's on the left, we'll have 5p. All the numbers on the right, let's say 13 plus 1. Oh, sorry, I miscounted a p. All the p's on the left would be this one plus another 4. So 9 p's on the left. All the numbers, 13 plus 1 plus another 1 and plus 25. So we get 9p is equal to, what's that, 40. So p is equal to 40 over 9. Just be careful at this point, you weren't looking for P, they never asked you about P. Hell, they didn't actually ask you about D either, but I'm asking you for D. So what's D? Let's write one of these again. D is equal, let's just say the first bit here, 4 times P, but we know P. It's 40 over 9, minus 1 minus another 25. So put that into a calculator at this point, save me a bit of writing. Is equal to minus 74 over 9. And again, be careful, you're not finished yet either. This is why there's 4 marks for this. It's not that it's that difficult, it's just there's a good few steps that they haven't held your hand through. So we're ultimately not looking for D, we're just using it. Ultimately, we want to find the 10th term. So we use this formula I already wrote. The 10th term is equal to A, which is 25, plus n minus 1, n is 10, we're choosing n, which is 9, multiplied by d, which is minus 74 over 9. Nicely, the 9's cancel, so we just get 25 minus 74, which is minus 49, I think? Yeah, minus 49, and that's the answer to part A. In part B, it's nearly identical, with the only exception they've replaced the P's with Q's, and sorry, not the only exception. They replaced the P's with the Q's just to help us not confuse things. And they've told us this is a geometric progression this time. But the same holds true. What I really want to find out is everything. And that just means finding A equals, and in this case, OR equals. A is just 25 once again. Or is the common ratio. What's the difference between the second and first? Just like the first time. What's the difference between the second and first, or the third and the second? Except it's dividing this time. But the point is they're equal. So the second term, 4q minus 1, divided by the first term, has to be the same as the third term, divided by the second term. And once again, this gives us an equation with only one unknown. So we can go ahead and solve that, or at least we can try. Let's just multiply across first of all. This will end up just squaring, but that's 16q squared minus 1 times 4q, and 4q times minus 1 will give us minus 8q, plus 1 by 1 is plus 1, equals, let me go to my notes for this, 13 multiplied by 25 is 325, and minus 25q. Get everything over the same side, so we have a quadratic. We will get 16q squared plus 17q, and minus 324 equals 0. Now we have a quadratic here that does actually work quite neatly, but I wouldn't have been able to do this in my head. Let's see, q here, and that would be a minus 4, and that would be a plus 81. I wouldn't have been able to do this in my head. There's just too many factors for 16 and too many factors for 324. Like, you could just jot out a few examples and see if you could make it work. The trick would be, if you were doing that way, to keep the 17 in mind, how close together the two numbers from these multiplyings have to be. But yeah, I would have probably just done the minus b formula. Or if you go back to this paper, question 1 of this paper, I showed you how to complete the square. Either of those methods would be fine. But minus b formula would give you these answers. But once you get to these, they tell you that q is a positive. So this q would turn out to be minus 81 divided by 16. So that one's out. So the only answer here is q is equal to 4. This is the only valid answer. So they don't want to see you write q is equal minus 81 over 16 unless you put a line through it. So once you have q, we can go back and find or again. Let's see, or is once again equal to 4q minus 1 divided by 25. Except we now know q. So that's 15 over 25, which 5 goes into both of them, so that's 3 over 5. And again, just getting you most of your marks, but they didn't ask for or, it's just we knew to find it. What they ultimately asked for is the sum to infinity, which again, I'll check my notes, but that's, no, I don't seem to have it here. That's a divided by 1 minus or, I believe. I might have mixed that up. You know what, I'll edit it out if I'm wrong, so you won't know if I'm wrong or not. So the sum to infinity is a divided by 1 minus or, and we just fill them in. It's 25 divided by 1 minus 3 over 5, which is minus 2 over 5, which equals, sorry, no, that should be just 2 over, 1 minus 3 over 5 is only 2 over 5, yes. 5 times 25 is 125 over 2. And that's your final answer. I don't think they didn't ask you to put in decimal places, but I guess that goes in 62.5. Either of those is perfectly okay. Okay, and that is such a common question, both of those. They will give you a sequence with a letter in it, and you have to do something just like this question nearly every year. So make sure you're able to do it. If you have any follow-up questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.